I'll talk about it all the time. Customer wants to go somewhere else, we'll pick up the phone, Sal, and call that other place with them, see what the tires cost, because I know we'll beat that price. We're competitively priced. We're set up to do the maintenance. We're set up to do the detailing. We're set up to do all that because we want you to be part of our family. That's how important you are to us. And we're going to go over the basic inspection on a car you can be doing yourself, or you do when you come into with us for an oil change. Every time you come in for an oil change, we don't only just change the oil on your car, rotate your tires. We do a complete multi-point inspection every time. So the first thing we're going to look at on each vehicle is the brake fluid. You want to be checking the brake fluid on your vehicle. Now, if you notice, that fluid is amber in color. And the reason it's amber is that's what new fluid is. When it gets old, it gets dark and it gets black. In your owner's manual, it'll tell you nowhere that you need to ever replace that fluid. My suggestion is every 2 years, replace that fluid out. And if your brake fluid has moisture in it, it will lower the boiling point of that fluid and you'll get a thing called brake fade. If you got high humidity, it absorbs moisture, it lowers the boiling point of the fluid, is a moral of the story. Replace it every 2 years. There's a full and an add mark. You want your fluid to stay in between there. We will check this fluid every time you come in to make sure. If you are down to the add mark, we won't add the fluid. We're going to say you need a brake inspection to find out why the fluid is low. Either your brake pads are worn to the point where they need to be replaced, or you have a leak. Every time you come in, we use this battery tester here, and it checks the amperage, the cold cranking amperage of the battery. These new testers today can tell me the battery is going to fail soon. And now we can tell you, hey, you possibly may have a problem with your battery, and this is the reason why, and we show you the receipt. Okay? So there's really not much you can check yourselves at home, but a visual inspection of the battery post to make sure you don't have any acid on them. And it looks like a white fuzz that builds up on there. See how they're nice and clean, them posts? You can't check fluid in your batteries anymore for you old timers. You can't do any of that because they're all sealed. All right? Okay, next thing we're going to go to is the radiator fluid. It's coolant. Now, can you guys show them the pressurized cap? Sal, Jeremy, and Rajic, there's a pressurized cap. That cap never ever open. If the vehicle's hot, never even touch it. Okay, these guys can open it now if they want, but there's no reason for you to open it as a consumer. Always check the overflow bottle. There's a bottle somewhere in those cars, and you guys could point them out, that you could visually look at. If there's coolant in there, you're good to go. And that's non-pressurized. So all you got to do is visually look in there. Okay? And on these cars, it's green or orange. The coolant's good for 2 or 5 years on these vehicles, depending on the vehicle. All right? You guys all look at that? Okay, next, let's move on to the washer fluid. Okay? The washer fluid has a blue cap on most of these cars. Is it blue on all the cars? Color-coded? Right? All you need to add in there is water. If you want to add a washer solvent, buy an approved washer solvent from an auto parts store, or go to our parts department, we have it. Do not add Windex. It'll damage the rubber. It'll clog up the pumps. Don't add ammonia. It'll do the same thing. Okay, please. I see people do it all the time. It just causes nothing but grief. Buy an approved washer solvent. If you move into the mainland, make sure it doesn't freeze. It's good up to 0 degrees, okay? Okay, so 1 out of 3 cars have power steering fluid today. The pump is electric for the ones that don't have it. Why'd they go to an electric pump, Hyundai? To improve fuel economy. See, the ones that has fluid, the pump runs off a belt. It's hydraulic driven, and the engine has to drive the belt to drive the pump. Okay? Now, Hyundai figured out, well, you take that pump off, put an electric pump, less fuel, less load. Okay, that's why there's no power steering fluid. The only one is this Genesis has the fluid, and that's a closed system. You should never have to aft it. Engine oil, there's different weights on different cars. So you pull a dipstick out like Jeremy just did, wipe it with a rag, and push it back in. Now you want to check this oil when the car is cold, meaning it's been shut off for about 10 minutes, okay, because the oil needs to drain to the bottom of the engine. Very important, add in full, and they're showing you guys what the add in the full mark is. If it's above the add mark, that's too much oil, it could damage your engine. If it's below the add mark, too little oil could damage the engine. Synthetic oil is natural, it's not fake. We didn't make it, okay? The difference between conventional engine oil and synthetic engine oil is synthetic is chemically engineered. So they take the oil molecules, the engineers, reform them and make them all even so that they're all the same size. So the difference between conventional engine oil and synthetic engine oil is if you took marbles and rocks, and marbles with my left hand and rocks with my right hand, and I threw them, which one goes further and smoother? The marbles, right? Well, that's synthetic versus conventional. The molecules are all even like marbles. Synthetic is better, okay? Because what deteriorates in the oil is not the oil. What deteriorates is the chemicals put in oil, the detergents to clean the inside of the engine, okay? The properties to have the oil adhere to the metals, that's what deteriorates. The moral of the story is one of the most important things is change engine oil religiously. Your engines will last for a long, long time. Why do you think Jerry V says, I'll warranty the engine for life? All you got to do is change your oil. How firm I believe it, okay? All right, so now, what oil do I put in my engine? Look on the oil cap. Show them where the oil cap is if they have to add oil. It tells you. What's the weight on that, Jeremy? 520? Okay, so it's 5W20 on this vehicle right here. That's the viscosity. How fast the oil flows through the engine, how thick the oil is. 0 is the thinnest, right? 30 is heavier. So that's 530. So 5, when the engine's cold, it's at 5 weight, so it can flow quicker, and then when it warms up, it goes to 30. Okay? That's what that means. So you have to buy an oil that says 530 on that one, whatever that one says and whatever that one says, read the cap. And then it says one other thing, SAE. SAE stands for Society of Automotive Engineers. So the oil has to be rated by SAE and have the correct weight, and that's the right oil to put in it. Don't worry about the brand. All right? In our express lane, we use Pennzoil. Great oil. They have good cleaning properties. Different weight could cause problems, believe it or not. Your check engine light could come on. Your engines have different things in there that causes the timing to change and this stuff, and it's all driven off the weight of the oil. So if you change the weight, the time that these valves and things open up can trigger a problem. All right, so you got to use the right weight oil in your car. It's important. Okay? All right. Now, that's all under the hood. The one thing I didn't mention is transmission fluid. You can't check the transmission fluid on any of these cars. It's a sealed transmission, period. Okay? We'll check it on your major service with a computer. We take out a plug, get the computer right temperature, put a little tool in there and make sure it's full. But it should never get low, right? Okay? The tires, the main thing you want to do is check inflation on the tires. Does anybody know where to get the specification for the right inflation on the tires on your car? Where do you look? The tire is the maximum inflation that tire will cover. Okay? Not the specified inflation that's engineered for the car. You open your door and the door jamb will tell you most cars are 32 PSI cold. That's before the car is driven. Because with heat, the pressure changes. All right? So you want to make sure once a month you're checking your tire pressure because you can lose up to 3 pounds of pressure each month on your tires. So make sure you're checking the tires once a month. You can always stop in. We can check it for you. Get yourself a little gauge and check it before you drive the car. Boom. Now you all have a tire pressure warning system that's supposed to go off if your tire pressure gets too low. That's when you get below 30 PSI, boom, it goes off. Now, I have people check their tire pressure when they're after they've driven their car, put it right to 32, and then they wake up the next morning and tire light's on. I said it changes with temperature, right? So if the car's hot, you put your thing to 32, when it cools down, it maybe go to 29, 28, triggers a light. Make sure you're checking it cold before you drive, 32 PSI, okay? Another thing, your tires, you want to rotate them every 6 months, all right? Important. Why? Because it's going to wear evenly. That's why I say in the Bill of Rights, I'll help you pay for your tires as long as you rotate them, because I want you to get the best performance out of your tires and the longest performance out of your tires, right? You're doing yourself an injustice if you don't rotate your tires because your car won't handle properly. So make sure you bring it into us. When we do the oil change, we'll do the rotation, right? Now, Project, do you have a thread depth gauge? Do you have a thread depth gauge, Sal? All right, show everybody on the tires the thread depth gauge. Okay, you see that little gauge he's putting there? When them tires are new, they're about 11 to 12/32 of an inch. The depth of the thread to the bottom of the tire. Okay, when it wears down beyond 4/32, that's when I say to replace the tires. The state safety inspection says below 3/32, you have to, or we got to fail a safety check, right? So right around 3/32 is where you need to replace your tire. So every time you come in, I'm going to measure your tires, okay? And you're going to see over time your tires wearing little at a time because it's natural. And then I'm going to say you need to replace them, okay? So it's important that either you keep an eye on it or I keep an eye on it. Come in here. When it's at proper time, we replace your tires out, okay? That's how we measure them. I just wanted to show you guys how we measure it.
As you can see, these cars are very well protected underneath. They got the covers.
Yeah.
We got this where we drain the oil right here. We made a little peephole for it so you don't have to take the whole cover off. Just put a wrench up there and the oil will spill out into the drain. And the oil filter itself is up top of the engine. You have your driveline components here, steering and the axles, down up through the struts. This is a rear-wheel drive vehicle. You got lower ball joints and this McPherson strut assembly on the right side of the vehicle, also on the left side. If you'd like to take a look at this shiny component here, that's your brake caliper. Brake calipers are very heavy duty these days, and of course they're controlled by the ABS system, and they control the braking on the vehicle electronically also. When the ABS performance takes over, these calipers are controlled electronically with a signal from the computer to lock and unlock the brakes. Moving on, we got the exhaust system here continued. I have been pretty brave right now touching it because it's nice and cold. This is your catalytic converter right here, very expensive unit, both in dual exhaust system. They control the flow of the exhaust and they vapor it through for proper emissions in our atmosphere. Continuing on, we have a baffle, which is like a deadening sound for the exhaust system. Continues out to the back onto what's actually the real muffler down here. Now, this is your driveline drive shaft for the drive of the vehicle. You got the differential back here and you got the axles on here which turn the rear wheels on this vehicle. Most of our vehicles today are front wheel drive vehicles. This is the Genesis. It's got a big engine, 3.8 with power, and it's still designed conventionally with the rear wheel drive, just like the old vehicles were and trucks nowadays. The front wheel drive, all of this drivetrain here is up in the front, lightweight in the back. You feel free to welcome to go to these other vehicles that are all front wheel drive. This is our only rear wheel drive vehicle in the shop today. Do I have any questions? We got the fuel tank located in this section right here, over the exhaust. Anybody tell me why the fuel tank is here? Well before the back of the vehicle instead of back here? Safety, exactly. We've learned a lot from mistakes that were created back in the old days when vehicles were rear-ended. Gas tanks located back here with a high impact would explode, made out of metal. Nowadays, they're making them out of plastic and they're up further on the vehicle for less impact. It would take a lot to get damaged this fuel tank up here in this position. Now they designed it over the exhaust, of course, to make it fit, and the economy of the vehicle will allow the compartment to carry a spare, where most don't nowadays. They carry these little pumps. Interesting design. Most of the vehicles have the fuel tanks up closer to the middle of the vehicle now, as opposed to where they had them in the rear. Any questions?
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Sensors for the catalytic converter.
Okay, the catalytic converter sensors. Okay. You follow up here, see I got my hand on the sensor now. That's an O2 sensor. What that does, it monitors the exhaust going through here by the computer. It tells you if it's running too rich or too lean, and the computer will make adjustments.
All right, Sal, that's good. Where is this thing here? Where is the spare tire? Sal, how do I get to the spare tire? Where is it? Do you know?
Hyundai's frugal.
I got one right here.
It is.
All right. Remember earlier I was talking about fuel economy and the power steering pump went away? And there's an electric motor for that? Well, guess what? Fuel economy. Weight equals load equals takes more torque and more horsepower to push the vehicle, which equals more fuel. Hyundai figures out if I take the spare tire out and put this light thing in here, I can get better fuel economy out of vehicles. So there is no spare tire in most of your vehicles. Okay? So I know in the letter I sent you to come, the invitation, I said, learn how to change your spare. Well, at least I could talk about it, all right? It's a pump and some glue, all right? Now, if you get a flat, one thing I didn't talk about with your warranty, the 560, is you get 5 years, 60,000 miles of roadside assistance coverage with a Hyundai. If you get a flat, familiarize yourself with the 1-800 number that's in your owner's manual. Have it in your wallet. Okay, you get stuck with programming your cell phone. Call that number, know where you're at, know your VIN number, your vehicle identification number. Have them come out and change it for you and bring it to the dealer. We'll fix the tire. Okay? Period. Don't even mess with this on the road. If you really have to, you really have to. But you got the coverage for 5 years, 60,000 miles. Now, anytime you change oil with us, I give you coverage beyond that too. You're going to get a little sticker up in the left-hand column, a little reminder sticker that says your benefits are going to expire in 4 months, 120 days. What that means is I give you free roadside assistance coverage that if you do get a flat, if your vehicle breaks down, or you lock yourself out of the car, whatever, you call that 1-800 number that's on that sticker, and there's a unique ID number on each sticker that they will come out and help you too if you can't get through to the other number, or if you don't have factory warranty, or if you have another car in your household you want to bring in for an oil change that's an older vehicle you want the coverage on, change your oil and you got the coverage with me. It's only good for 4 months. So we're a dealer for the people. We give you that because we want to give you added value for your oil change, but I'm going to give you a little secret. It's a retention tool as well because it's only good for 4 months. After that, you got to come back to renew it, right? It's a little trick. I like it. I think it's fair. I give you something, you come back, you change your oil with me. But in addition, which Hyundai doesn't give you, which you do get with that, is road hazard coverage on your tires, okay? Road hazard coverage on that flat you got, as long as it's caused by a road hazard, we'll change or repair the tire. If it's non-repairable, we'll replace it up to $150 as well. Because the Bill of Rights, the Safe Tires for Life, is a wear warranty. It's not a road hazard warranty, okay? So you'll be covered. You come here for service, you're covered on your tires, all right? So that's a spare. Let me put this thing back. If you really want to purchase a spare,